I spent my entire life overthinking. And the more things I learned, the worse it became. Every decision came with hesitation. All my conversations got replayed 10 times over in my head. With every move I made, I imagined all the ways it could go wrong. I always felt so overwhelmed. My chest would tighten, my palms would sweat, my mind would race. But then everything changed just last year when it came to this major realization. Overthinking is just your brain's way of trying to protect you. The good news is that once you understand this, you can make conscious changes. You can retrain your brain. You can shift your beliefs to overcome overthinking so you boldly take action instead of feeling paralyzed in analysis paralysis. That's what I've done, and it's what I continue to do. You don't need years of therapy, and you don't need to go to a retreat in the middle of the jungle to take plant medicine. There are simple, practical shifts you can make today, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. First things first, we need to talk about the science behind overthinking. We know that people overthink situations from the past. This is called rumination. And there are people who overthink situations that have not happened yet. That is worry. For the purposes of this video, we'll be focusing on worry. We're going to focus on that because ultimately we can't change the past. What's done is done. Now let's agree on a definition for overthinking about things in the future. Repetitive, unproductive, and often uncontrollable worrying about potential future events, outcomes, or threats that prevents people from taking action. We've all been there before. Sitting there, paralyzed, imagining all of the hypothetical, terrible situations that could happen in your life. And when we have this kind of overthinking, then it releases the hormone called cortisol inside of your brain. And this makes you feel more stressed, and when cortisol increases and you feel more stressed, it shuts down the prefrontal cortex activity within your brain. When this happens, you experience a complete drop in all of your executive functionings, decreased memory, poor decision making, worse cognitive abilities. Naturally, as a result, you don't take action on whatever that thing is you're supposed to be taking action on because the front of your brain, the executive functioning part of your brain, is essentially shut down due to your overthinking. And your brain actually adapts to this state of being. It associates what happens often, which in this case is overthinking, with safety and comfort and survival. Here's some more science to really back this up. Brain scans show that when you keep worrying, the parts of your brain that think about yourself and imagine the future light up, which can trap you in endless what-if loops. This is exactly why so many people find it difficult to stop overthinking. But here's the irony behind this. A 2020 study done with people who worry all the time found that 91.4% of the things they were worrying about never came true. Now look, you might not be somebody who worries all the time, but there's a very high probability that this percentage, this 91.4%, can be translated to the general population in some way, shape, or form that is pretty close to the truth, because so many of us worry about things that simply never happen, and we continue thinking about how bad it could go and how stupid we'll look and all of the potential negative outcomes, despite the fact that the likelihood of them ever happening is so slim. Another thing worth noting is that you can consciously know that you're overthinking and you're worrying about the future is not logical. But we must remember, the subconscious mind is way more powerful than your conscious mind. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, your subconscious mind gets you in this trap of overthinking and worrying as a means of protecting you. It wants you to feel safe and secure in familiar environments and in familiar states of mind, even if these familiar environments and these familiar states of mind are not serving you. Because as we know, overthinking and the things that come with overthinking do not serve you. Your subconscious mind thinks it's doing you a favor, but in actuality, that's not the case at all. The good news is that you are now aware of exactly what's happening. And with awareness comes the opportunity to change. If you've made it this far in the video, then you already know more about overthinking and worry than I'd say 99% of people in the entire world. You understand from a behavioral standpoint why it happens. You understand from a neurological standpoint what happens. And you understand from a deeply rooted psychological perspective why it happens. But now let's get practical. These are the 3 steps that I have taken to overcome my overthinking completely and boldly take action. Step number 1, getting into my body. Now you might be wondering, what do you mean get into your body? Aren't I in a body? And yeah, you have a physical body, but most of us, most of the time, are living in our heads 24/7. Always thinking about things, always imagining hypothetical scenarios, always replaying events that have happened that we wish would have gone a different way. Whenever I find myself overthinking, I take note of this. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in my head and I need to get into my body. This is exactly what you can do to get into your body. Become aware. Rationalize how ridiculous it is to overthink. Notice 5 things about your body within your environment. And this last point is gold because you're grounding yourself into the present moment. Some examples would be what you're sitting on, how your shoulders feel, the feeling of the temperature on your skin, if you have hair coming down in your face, if you're sore in your body, how the surface your hands are on feel, anything. The main idea with this is to ground yourself into the present moment. And by using our senses to do that, then it's much easier to calm yourself down and get into your body and out of your head. Step number 2, micro action. So after you have grounded yourself by noticing your body within the environment and becoming aware of what those things are, then you can do these 3 things. Set your goal. Take 1 big breath. Move with a purpose. Whether you've been overthinking what that piece of content will be about that you're going to write, whether or not you should speak up in the board meeting at work, whether or not you're thinking about if you should approach that hot stranger in the coffee shop, this is the perfect time to do it. Once you set the goal and take that big, deep breath, your body is now physically calm. You're already out of your head and into your body, and now your body's calm. So now is the best time to take action because there's no better time to take action than when you're feeling calm and prepared. Another great thing that you can do with this is set yourself a time limit. So you say, okay, I'm giving myself 30 seconds and then I have to take action. This is a form of intentional stress. Not stress in a negative way, but by setting the limitations in your time, then you force yourself to take action within that block. Step number 3, reshape your expectations. Look, we all want to score it big. We all want to get that hot stranger's number. We all want to get 1 million likes on our posts. We all want to feel respected and revered by our colleagues at work. But things don't always go as planned. You can ground yourself in this present moment. You can set your big goal. You can take a big deep breath in and take that action, but you might not get the result you were hoping for. And that's okay. I used to consider these situations to be like losses or failures because things didn't go my way. Maybe that's your mindset too. And if that's the case, then I can't blame you because we've all been there. But once you reshape your expectations, then things become a lot more enjoyable. And you can begin to focus on the process, not the outcome. So that even if you don't get the results you were looking for after taking a bold action that took a lot of guts to take, by the way, you don't feel so disheartened. You don't feel so upset and you don't feel like a failure because you know that, okay, well, by taking this action, I learned a very valuable lesson. At first, it will feel forced and it will feel weird, but keep this in mind. The more you do things with the sole intention of focusing on the process instead of what you'll get as a result, the quicker this change happens. You begin stacking evidence. This evidence reshapes your beliefs. Your beliefs reinforce your narrative. Your narrative strengthens your identity as someone who boldly acts instead of overthinking. And this, my friend, is how it goes. This is how changes are made. This is how you overcome overthinking. You now know exactly what it is you have to do to overcome this overthinking. But the question is, will you apply this into your life, or will you keep overthinking how to overcome overthinking? Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for more while you're here. And if you're somebody who wants to fast track your results to completely overcome overthinking and overcome the limiting beliefs and self-sabotage you may be experiencing, then be sure to check out the top link in the description below. You and I can work together and we can reshape your subconscious beliefs for pure confidence, clarity, and conviction with everything you do on a day-to-day basis. So, all that said, I will see you in the next video. Bye.